How's it going, Verona? It's great to get you on the podcast. I'm actually really excited for our conversation today.
Awesome. No, thank you so much for having me. Really, really excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a interesting time of the year for me. I'm normally kind of like burnt out from everything by this point, and so I don't know. The years past, I've scheduled a huge amount of podcasts in September and October just to have content for November, December, January. But like this year I'm actually feeling good. I don't know if I did something different or what, but recordings are going longer this year. But I'm really happy to have you on. I'm really excited to talk about this report that you put out on just cybersecurity globally overall.
Yeah, no, very happy to be here. And as I say, I think it's a bit of a weird time for me. So I operate in the kind of public policy space of cyber policy, and it's always pretty intense this time of year. A lot of governments and think tanks and that sort of thing have a lot of their conferences in the run up to Christmas. So it's always a bit of an insane run in the 2 months up to Christmas, and then we all collapse in a big heap on the 25th of December.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a couple that I wanted to go to. They were like related to like space and cybersecurity. And it was like so last minute. It was like one's in November, like right around the holidays. The other one's in December. It's just like, do I want to go to it? Yes. But I also have like little kids and I don't want to like bring them along. It's just a complete mess, with doing it like last minute like that.
I feel like the geography of kind of being near London makes it a little bit easier. So I've just got back from Brussels, and
Yeah.
so the kind of geography of Europe makes it a little bit easier to kind of get around to those sort of things last minute. But yeah, can imagine. Don't have
Yeah.
kids, so yeah, the I have the more flexibility and I guess more sleep to give me the energy to go to those sort of things.
Yeah, it was interesting to me. So I went to Europe for the very first time, I think. I mean, it was over 10 years ago at this point. It was like 12 years ago. I did, a short study abroad session in Germany just in time for Beer Fest. That was amazing. And I was talking to someone from Russia and he was saying like, oh, like how much of the United States have you been to and everything. And I was telling him, I was like, man, I've been to like maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 states. And like that was a good amount. That's probably like the average amount for someone my age at that time. I mean, it's probably the average amount for someone of any age in America. And he was completely shocked. He was like, "Oh my God, you haven't even seen like 50% of your country." I was like, "You have any clue how big the country is? Like, I can drive for 8 hours in my state and not be out of my state." Like, that's how big my state is. Like that's insane. And he goes, "Oh, I didn't even realize. Because if you drive for 8 hours anywhere in Europe, like you're going over two, three, four countries, like with ease, like with traffic and everything, like with no traffic, I'm still in Illinois. It's crazy."
Yeah, no, absolutely. I often get accused as I'm someone that grew up in London, and so maybe have sometimes a bit of a London centric view even of the UK. So, I mean, I really have no excuse, but there's a lot of the UK I haven't even seen.
I really want to go to London. Me and my wife, we keep on talking about it and we definitely want to go. And when we go, I think we want to go for like 2 weeks at least. Because when I go to I have a rule where when I go to another country, like if I don't know exactly when I'm going back, like basically the second trip has to already be booked. So
Hmm.
if that doesn't happen, then like I do absolutely everything. I mean, I come back from these vacations and I'm just like completely beat up. And it's because like every minute of the day I have something planned. Like I'm eating at this restaurant that I want to go to. I'm doing this event. I'm going and seeing this museum or whatever it is, I do vacations a little bit differently. I had a friend with me on my last trip to Germany and I built in like one day of like doing nothing. And we just like, I mean, it was like from the time we got off the plane, there was like, so of course there's construction on the S-Bahn, and now we have to like get off and find a bus and get to our hotel and everything. And then literally from the time we get off the plane we're doing something the entire time, and then we get to that one day and he's like, "What are we doing?" I was like, "I don't know, sleeping." Like we were literally out until 3 a.m. last night. Like I'm chilling, man.
Yeah, my husband, I think, has gotten so used to me having like a really detailed spreadsheet of what we're doing hour by hour on our holidays, and often feels like a lot of the stuff that we end up doing is quite spontaneous, but absolutely not. It's been kind of planned for several weeks in advance because, to your point, I want to make the most of going there because I never know when I'm going to go back. So
Right. But why don't we circle back, to how you kind of got into the space, right? Because you're kind of in like a parallel space to cybersecurity, but you're close enough to know quite a bit about the space. Tell me about your journey.
yeah, sure. So I kind of my background is very much in kind of public policy, government relations, that sort of thing. So I've been doing that for many years now and spent quite a lot of time working across different organizations, across different sectors, understanding the policy issues, helping organizations navigate that. So literally everything from energy to transport to kind of broader tech, and working for little companies and big companies, both in-house and as a consultant. Then eventually ended up NCC Groups, the kind of UK headquartered global cybersecurity firm, and they kind of had a specific role within their government affairs. So I joined maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I honestly feel like I have found my absolute cultural home when it comes to operating within cybersecurity. So I think where I'd been kind of going through kind of different roles and gaining experience across different sorts of organizations and different policy issues, you kind of eventually get quite bored quite quickly because kind of once you know a sector, it's you understand the issues, and that kind of continuous learning stops after about a year. But so far it hasn't stopped at all at kind of within cybersecurity, and I really love it, and I will never leave the sector, I'm sure, because it's such an awesome space to be working in terms of the decisions that governments are making and how much it's impacting how we can all operate in cyberspace, but also some of the standards and stuff that we have to kind of comply with across the board as organizations, and how quickly kind of the space is moving, and also just all of the really awesome, very clever people that I get to work with on a day-to-day basis, and the stuff that they're doing being kind of genuinely beneficial and for the greater good of a more secure cyberspace. So yeah, it kind of ticks all the boxes in terms of purpose and a space that's evolving so rapidly, never getting bored, continuously learning, and really feeling like within my kind of current role, having the opportunity to make that link between policymakers and politicians and government and the world of cybersecurity, and often acting as a bit of a translator, I guess, between those two worlds because they speak very different languages a lot of the time.